So I've used the DSM-5 for psychopathy assessment, and this one is another one that's used clinically called the Hare psychopathy test, and it is an assessment of 20 questions where they're related to social, relational, and just things outside of the norm to find out if someone is indeed a psychopath. So this is called the Hare Psychopathy Checklist Revised, and it is used to rate a person's psychopathic or antisocial tendencies. People who are psychopathic prey on others using charm, deceit, or violence to get what they want. And knowing someone for 6 years and living with them for 2 gives me the ability to very accurately go through these questions. So, this person displays a lack of remorse or guilt. Yeah, that applies very well. This person is callous and lacks empathy. Absolutely. This person has broken many different types of laws. Behavior has not been restricted to any single domain. Partially. This person has often tricked, conned, or manipulated people. Yes. This person generally evades responsibility and does not answer to anyone in their life. Absolutely. This person lives a parasitic life on others by borrowing money, they'll never pay back, exploiting others for favors, moving in with people shortly after he starts love bombing them and dating them and saying he loves them. Yeah. Him and I moved in together after 2 months. The first person he was cheating on me with, he moved in with her for a while. The second person, the long-term one that he was cheating on me with, he moved in with her after about 6 months. And the person he's currently dating moved in with her after a few months. So that applies very well. Person lacks realistic long-term goals. Yes. Drifting through life. Yep. He hasn't had a job in over 2 years. This person is characterized by shallow emotional responses. He'll agree with you on that one. I used to say he's about as deep as a puddle. This person has a habit of blaming others for their own problems and does not accept responsibility for their own actions. Yeah. He cheated on me with over a dozen people and blamed me. Poor behavioral controls and finds it hard to keep their impulses in check. Yes, if you've met him and you've known him for, I would just say, over a week, you can see that he cannot control his anger. He also can't control his sexual urges. Grandiose sense of self-worth. Yes, he's very entitled. Actually, the second person he was in the relationship with, her and I chatted for a little while, and that was one of the first things she asked me was, does he always feel entitled like this? I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Overly impulsive. Yes. If he, that's why I would always ask him how he could cheat like he did, Like what? I didn't get it. I'm like, you just have like no self-control whatsoever? History of promiscuous sexual behavior. Absolutely. Exhibiting cruelty to others. Well, that's a little tricky because, when he wants something, he's very manipulative and charming. But if you're not living up to his expectations of what he wants, or if you disagree with him on something, he can be very cruel. And I started noticing this when he would intentionally make me cry, and then he would just sit there and watch me, like with a smirk on his face almost. And I thought it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. This person is a pathological liar. Huh. Yes, if you've ever spoken to him, I would pretty much bet my life that you've also been lied to, because pretty much every time he opens his mouth, a lie comes out. Whether that's a full lie, a half lie, there's going to be some sort of lying within his words. He is never honest or genuine with anything. An easy or unconstrained social life. Yeah, he just does whatever, whenever, with whoever. An excessive need for stimulation and is prone to boredom. Yeah, I guess he just gets kind of bored, so I put partially for that one. I mean, he does, go and like try and do his own thing whenever he wants, but he can sit down for a little while. This person has at some point in their life been given a mild reprimand or warning by the authorities on the condition that they do not repeat their offense, yet nevertheless ended up repeating the offense anyway. Well, this is very relevant in the fact that he got arrested in March and was put on an ankle monitor, and then he didn't show up to his court date, so they came to arrest him, and then he spent a little time in jail, and then he got out again. Then he was driving on his suspended license yet again. So when they ran his plate, they pulled him over and they arrested him. And he just got out of jail October 12th, I think. Something like that. So he was there for, October 15th. Now, he was there for 2 weeks. So yes, applies very well. Has a history of juvenile delinquency and or crime. Kind of, but he wasn't really getting caught for it. We'll say partially. This person has had many serious romantic relationships that have fallen apart after a short time. Yep. The longest he can maintain it is about a year, and that's if the person is willing to really put up with it. We lived together for 2 years, but only one of those years was, decent or decent enough. And then it was just a matter of me getting the funds to move. And obviously we continued talking for several years after that, because he'd always try to come back. But that's the thing with psychopaths and narcissists, is they don't ever want to fully let you go. And you will notice that most of the people he speaks to are his exes. Okay, so the person I rated up is 100% psychopathic on his interpersonal lifestyle, 88% on his overt antisocial features. So he is 93% total psychopathy. Let's see. This makes him 83.5% more psychopathic than the average person. And it's funny because narcissists project so much, and so a lot of times he will throw out there and he'll call me a psychopath. He'll say, "Oh, you're a psycho. You're such a psycho." And I would say, "Do you even understand the meaning of that term. I don't think you do. Otherwise, you do, and then you're just projecting it onto me. But I mean, I can run through that whole test and mark does not apply to all of those. So that would make me 0 on the psychopath. Here we go. Screenshot this. So, most people, if they've met him and you've known him for over 6 months, could probably do that test and come up with the same results. Definitely, if you've known him for a year or more, you would likely see that. And like I said, knowing him for 6 years, I'm very, very confident in my answers. So, yeah, he is 100% on the DSM-5 for psychopath. And then he also has a co-occurring disorder of NPD. So yeah, he's very charming until you tell him no.